the Niners being interested in Teddy Bridgewater. Does he make more sense for the 49ers than Jimmy Garoppolo? Take this any way you want to take it. Jose, why don't you start?
Then they say that they were interested in him, and the report they attached, to be quarterback too, and I just laughed. I think I snorted coffee out of my nose about how funny I thought that was. Like, come on, you're not fooling anyone. What are you thinking? Like, the only thing I thought about it, I'm like, this is a replacement. And then it took me more sifting through Twitter to really get more of my thoughts going, and it's like, yeah, the only real way they're making this make sense is if Garoppolo's gone and they're going to draft a quarterback. Like, they're committed to drafting a quarterback. That's the only way. You're not going to have nearly 440 or more dollars guaranteed tied to the cap because of two quarterbacks that you're going to play. No. So the only way I thought it would have made sense, especially you're getting up capital, which at that point, how much is Teddy Bridgewater even going to cost at this point? What is he going to cost? Like a third, fourth round pick or something like that? Maybe less. That's probably around for sure, like a day 3 pick. That's the only way it makes sense. If you're pretty much steadfast, you're firm, and that, hey, we're most likely going in this direction, that we are going to go with a rookie quarterback. And so I see that's why probably they were tapping on their shoulder. And maybe when the trade, if the pieces fall, man, like I wrote my article yesterday, the pieces fall, they want to trade up for Fields. Hey, Garoppolo, go to New England or Chicago or wherever, and then, hey, Teddy, and then Fields or whoever else falls. And I think that's the only way it makes sense, because no way you're going to keep both on the roster.
Yeah, for me, the only way that this makes sense is if they're not going to draft a quarterback this year. And the reason for it is because in order to get Bridgewater, you've got to give up a draft pick. And I don't really want to see them giving up the capital that it would take to trade up for a pick in the first round, like Fields, for example, plus trading a pick to get Bridgewater. It makes sense from a salary cap standpoint, but I don't really like the thought of trading anybody pick away to bring him in and really just have Jimmy Garoppolo number 2.
I don't think as Jose was saying, I don't think acquiring Bridgewater would mean he would be the backup, because, as people have said, $40+ million for 2 quarterbacks is insane. You might as well just sign Dak Prescott for $40 million if you want a quarterback.
Yeah.
But having Bridgewater partnered with a rookie, whether that's Fields, Lance, Kellen Mond, whatever, I think does make sense, just because Bridgewater and Garoppolo, I think, are very similar, but Bridgewater is cheaper. He would create 5.6 more million, which is important in this offseason when a lot of teams don't have a lot of cap space, and the cap space isn't growing like teams wanted it to. And having Bridgewater, who can scramble, he scrambled 37 times last season, 7.4 yards a scramble. And I know people, first thing they think of Bridgewater is that catastrophic knee injury he had in 2016, where he also missed 2017. But he's recovered pretty well from it to this point. He's able to run. Garoppolo, if you want to compare, I know people think Garoppolo and Bridgewater are similar mobility. They're not. Garoppolo has 21 scrambles since 2018. So 37 last year for Bridgewater, 21 since 2018 for Garoppolo.
Wow.
And Garoppolo's longest career run is 13 yards. You know what happened when he ran for 13 yards?
My God. Oh my God.
He tore his ACL, his longest career run. So that's a little concerning in itself. So I just think if they, in my article coming out, I think tomorrow, if you cut or trade Garoppolo, let's say you trade Garoppolo to New England for whatever, and you acquire Bridgewater, that frees up the 5.6. You cut Nzocha, you cut Weston Richburg, you cut D Ford. If that happens, then you have $27.41 million in cap space, essentially. And that's either Trent Williams and Kyle Juszczyk and Trent Williams and Jason Verrett, or Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, and K'Waun Williams, whatever you want. That's a lot of players you can get just by freeing up that money. So I just would rather go Bridgewater. I still think Jimmy Garoppolo's talented, maybe not the best, but I think Bridgewater would be the same thing but cheaper.
And Bridgewater's hard leg almost fell off, and he's still running more. So, I mean,
you just made a great case. You had all your research done, your homework done. Okay, I just have questions because I'm almost sold. You almost got me. What are the Niners trading for Teddy Bridgewater?
Well, if Carolina's going for Deshaun Watson like they say they are, or they're going for a rookie, then trading Bridgewater, I believe if they trade him, I can give you the exact number. They free a lot more money this year if they traded him than if they cut him. But to me, that's smart for them. If they're going rookie and they're rebuilding, they get that guy so here it is. If they cut him, they have $2.9 million in savings. If they trade him, they get $12.9 in savings. If it's post June, they free up 17. And so to me, that's trading. And why would Bridgewater have any worse value or better value than Garoppolo? If you're getting a fifth for Garoppolo, you should be able to get a Bridgewater for.
So you're saying just trade Jimmy to New England and then take that pick and send it to Carolina.
Essentially, I think that would be.
I like that. That's cool with me. Well, I actually like that idea. What say you two?
I love that one. Yeah, I love that one.
You're not using any of the Niners draft capital.
You're pretty much doing
basically trading Jimmy for him. Yeah.
Face value. Yes. Take
of course, Carolina would have to take it, and you'd have to be able to trade.
But you're making it seem like it's actually that he brings a little bit more. I mean,
Carolina probably would take it too, especially if they're in line to actually take one of those quarterbacks you're saying. That they would. I don't know if it can happen,
but it's interesting. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a lot of dominoes fall in place.
No, I definitely like that. That's a really good route to go. I never thought of it that way. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, because there's a positive of the cap savings. That's the biggest piece there. So
yeah, and the scrambling is nice, and the fact that you can just essentially trade Jimmy Garoppolo for him, fine by me. I wouldn't trade a 3rd round pick for him or a 4th round pick for him. I'd almost feel like the Panthers should be trading you a pick for taking that contract off their hands, especially if they don't want him anymore. But the Niners are in the same position trying to get someone to take Jimmy G. Clearly, the Panthers wouldn't be interested in Jimmy G, so it would be kind of like a 3-way deal, but I like it. Very clever.
Probably a conditional rounder, I think more so. Like, 5th and conditional 4th if he's your starter for X amount of games or something like that. That's the way I could see it.
If they have Deshaun Watson, as you were talking about a couple weeks ago, where would it be smarter to trade for Stafford first or trade Garoppolo first? That conversation we're having. If they get Deshaun Watson first, then of course that does help the Niners, where they kind of have to get Bridgewater's contract off the books, and a trade would do better in that sense. But if Bridgewater's still their starter until they draft a guy, it would maybe cost a little more, maybe a 4th. I still think they could get him for a 4th and get Garoppolo a 4th or a 5th.
All right. Well, that was very clever. Let's see if it works out. I don't see why I can't. Let's see. I mean, the fact that they're in contact with the Panthers about maybe they're already thinking along those lines.